Okay. Hi, Mariah.
Hi, Jillian.
So it's been a week since we last talked,
hmm
and I was wondering if you can kind of take me through your week and reflect on it and tell me what your week was like.
Yeah, this week it's kind of a blur. I don't know. Yeah, I guess it was kind of a blur, but like it was pretty eventful. I don't know. There was a lot of, or a lot to this week, I should say. Um, I know last week we talked about um how since I was still part of like the grieving process, and I still am, in terms of like the loss in my family, I was trying. I kind of set a goal, and I don't know if I actually set it like um clearly or not, but I know it was like my goal to give myself kind of like time and set boundaries with people. um if I needed like, time for myself, time to care for myself, um just take a breather or something, or relax when I need to, like in my grieving process. So there's that. And this week I think I did like do a lot of that. um I still have time off of work, and I've been trying to focus on school. And let's see. Yeah, I've been like trying to give myself more self-care, take breaks when I need to, uh, or like if I feel like I need to zone out for a bit, then I do that. Mm. I've also been dealing with like kind of like a cold. So there's that too, which adds to more like giving myself self-care. And yeah, like I went to see like my doctor. Like I couldn't do it in person, but it had to be like in a virtual visit because I had like symptoms of like kind of related to COVID, but I took a COVID test like at work and I was negative. So, but they still wanted to take precautions. So, saw my doctor, uh, got antibiotics for my cold and stuff. So I'm dealing with that. And yeah, I think I've just been taking it day by day and like it's giving myself enough time to relax for a bit. Um, do I every day I try to do something I enjoy, even if it's just a little bit of time or like a little activity. I don't like exactly like time it or log it for the day, but I just make sure to like keep it in my head to do something that I like. Yeah, I think that's I think that sums up my week.
Well, those are the goals that we've kind of been working on too throughout our sessions too, with giving yourself time and enjoyment and stuff. So to be able to give yourself the self care and setting those goals last week, even though we didn't really specify that in the session. Does that seem
hmm
like you want to take those goals and kind of still work on those, or do you want to do something else this week?
Um, I think that's like still a goal that I would like to work on. I think I need to continuously work on it because I feel like even if I wasn't part of even if I like if I'm not part of like grieving or having like a process of grieving, I would still want to better manage my health that way because I always kind of like thought, well, I need to somehow incorporate like self-care and enjoyment throughout my like work week or whatever, or school week or whatever I'm doing, just to like keep me sane and keep me healthy in that sense. I think mentally healthy is probably what I'm going for.
So what I hear is that, the mental health, but then you also have some physical stuff. So with the physical, last week we talked about you finding support, just whether it's going to be your professor supporting you or kind of the friends and family support. Is that something that you're finding still? the support piece?
Yeah, definitely. A lot of families still like reach out to me or check up on me, and friends too. And you guys occasionally do too, so I appreciate that. Um, I'm definitely finding like support around me as I'm going through like this process. So I think that's been going really well.
So I think that we're just setting goals. If you wanted to stick with, the self-care and just kind of really with the mental health you were saying, can you kind of paint me a picture of what that looks like?
Yeah. So I think probably what's best for me is, again, I always try to take time for myself, like throughout, or like maybe throughout the day, just to give myself time to relax. And um, I guess in terms of like if I need something from someone, like any support at all, like I have to make sure that I'm okay with asking for help. Because usually I'm that type of person who doesn't want to bother anyone when I ask for help. So I'm like realistically, like I have to think about like, okay, so I mean, I really need help right now. And I obviously can't do things myself if I'm feeling like really sad, or if like I'm coughing a lot due to my cold right now. So I think there's that. Mm, yeah, I think that's what I want to do, or I think that's how it would go in terms of giving myself more self-care.
We got a train coming through. It's going to sound like it's going to come
Oh,
through our session. Throw
yeah.
that over here. Well, those goals sound. I like those goals. And is there anything else you want to talk about today?
Anything else? Mm, hmm. Mm, well, let me see. Well, I think it kind of goes along with like self-care, but this week also has felt kind of like stressful because it's like, the week before finals and there's like, still big like assignments and projects to do. So I feel like kind of part of I think that would also be part of like self-care as well, I guess. And is like stress management. But I think like, well, obviously self-care is part of stress management, like making sure like you're breathing well, or you're like, oh, take a deep breath, take a breath out, kind of thing. Or like make sure you give yourself breaks, drink enough water, all that stuff. Or like take one task at a time. Don't try to do it all at once, kind of thing.
Um, so asking for help kind of hard, right? You're saying.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
how do you ask for help?
How?
Like, so you need help from someone, right? Um,
Yeah.
it just to see if it's maybe even like kind of a goal this week. You could even if you know that you right now you've got the cold, you've got
Mhm.
finals. Maybe there's some way we could set some kind of goal, or you can see it being attainable. Using kind of the SMART method, trying to figure out a way so that you can be more supported.
Yeah. Um, I mean, I would say like when I do ask for help, sometimes it's like pretty straightforward. Like it's like, hey, can you make me a cup of tea, please? I'm kind of dying. Sorry,
That was
that was my boyfriend. He was like, "Do you want tea?" I was like, "No, this is an example." But yeah, stuff like that. Or like sometimes I'm like tentative in like asking for help. Like I kind of word it like, "Hey, can you do this?" But you don't have to, like, kind of thing. I think probably what I should do is like, as much as possible, not say phrases like, "Oh, sorry for asking, but," or like, "Oh, can you do this?" But you don't have to. So like, kind of being firm with asking, I guess, because I'm usually not a firm person, but like I'm still working on that. But I think like me asking for help from others is like a big thing for me. Yeah, I would say.
Well, we're here for you.
Huh,
You can
thank
always
you.
ask for help from us. And so let me just ask how I can support you, because in not only the NUNM stuff, but what can I do to help you?
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, like realistically, I do like how you guys help me out with like other classes when you can. I really appreciate that. And I think because we're not like, physically close in proximity. And again, like I've said this before, like even just checking in is still good for me. Like even if it's just like one time in a day or like 1 week or something, like once a week is okay for me. Because a lot of people have been checking up on me as well. I
And
think I
thank
still,
you
yeah,
for your Zoom membership, right? So even though this is our last health coaching session, I think maybe we should have another one next week,
right. Yeah, we could.
right in the
I
middle.
think that'd be helpful. It's like checking in on each other. Like, hey, are you okay? Are you losing your mind? Yeah, totally. Me too. Yeah. No, I think that's good. Even like a group call is good because then at least even if we're like not physically like close, at least we can like see each other's faces. So there's some kind of connection there instead of just like maybe a text or a call. I mean, like I guess it's always like better for a face to face, but because we're in an online program, that's not really possible so much unless we like fly to each other's places or something or drive. I don't know. But yeah, I think definitely that's like the next best thing. Like a like call check-in or a video call check-in would be good. And I think it'd be beneficial just not for me, but for everyone else too.
I agree.
Mhm.
I think so. Um, the Going back to kind of some of the beginning sessions that we had, we brought up time management, and then we brought
Mhm.
up yoga. And are those things still kind of in your mindset to want to work on in your future? I know you've got so much on your plate right now, obviously, with your dad's death and just going through the grieving process.
Yeah. So definitely time management is a thing that I still want to work on. I think I'll still continuously work on it. And like I guess in terms of yoga, like I guess I did like talk about it once, and it's still like on the back of my mind. Like I really want to try and do this, but I guess think for the time being, now is not the right time to like address it. But I know like I will probably like I don't know, deal with it at some point, or like I would want to like do it again when I feel like I'm ready for it, like getting back into, or not getting back into, but like kind of like being more consistent with it in terms of incorporating more movement and flexibility in my life.
Okay. Is there anything else there, Mariah, that you want to talk about? I know we just covered a lot, so
Yeah.
yeah, I hear all the goals. I think these are the goals that just kind of continually working on those from last week.
Hmm.
And yeah, do you have any other thoughts? Do you kind of see it how I guess we're getting towards the end of this week, and then going into the next.
Right.
We can kind of meet in a week's time, and yeah. Any
Hmm.
other thoughts?
Other thoughts? Let me see. I think in terms of like even though we're like ending this session of like health coaching, probably like keeping in mind like the goals I've been having or what I've been trying to work on with myself, trying to keep in mind like how I can carry that forward even without like actual health coaching. Mm, Probably kind of like finding methods of like reminding myself to like do my goals, I would say, which I would think probably some of it would be like always setting reminders for myself, like during the day, like, hey, make sure you take care of yourself. And for specifically what that would mean in the day, it could be different. But I think that's a good step in doing it.
How would you set a reminder?
Uh, Usually I would do it like in my phone or like sometimes to like double remind myself. I like write it on a calendar and then set a phone reminder. And then if I really need to, I'm like, hey, can you remind me to like I tell someone like, hey, can you remind me to like take 30 minutes of my time to do like something that I like.
Who's that person that's going to remind you?
Honestly, it could be like anyone in my house. Usually I ask like my sister or something. Although it's like more like practical things, I guess. And I remind her, it's like, hey, can you remind me to take out the trash? But if I think about it, like, well, that's a practical thing for me to ask. So it's like, hey, can you remind me to take care of myself? And then she'll be like, oh, okay, cool. That sounds kind of concerning, but I'll do it.
What a great sister.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
I do that too. I mean, my husband reminds me on things as well.
Mhm.
So it's good to have other people remind you. I think that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Okay, Mariah. Well, we will touch base next week. We'll set up another time, and we can all meet. And then I'm around anytime you need me.
Okay. Great.
All right. Take care.
Thank you. Take care.